My mother-in-law, Scarlett, was the kind of woman who could make a saint question their faith. She was a master manipulator, a queen of passive-aggressive digs, and a champion of holding grudges longer than a politician's campaign promises. But it wasn't until she tried to sabotage my wedding and then, in a twisted act of revenge, pretended my mother was invading our home that I realized the lengths she'd go to destroy my life. This is the story of how I finally broke free from Scarlett's toxic grip, and how the truth, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, brought a long-overdue sense of peace and justice to my marriage. My name is Ellie, and my mother-in-law Scarlett has been a thorn in my side for a long time. It wasn't until I gave my husband Orion an ultimatum that her toxic presence was finally removed from our lives. I thought about sharing this story because I know you guys would enjoy the karma. Orion and I met in college. We had the perfect whirlwind romance that's common for college sweethearts. He was a senior in my class and I was a freshman. We got acquainted at a party, and the rest is history. I won't bore you with the details of my love life. What you should know is that after dating for 4 years, we finally decided to get engaged. We waited a while before getting married, mostly because of Scarlett. You see, Scarlett and my dad went to college together. She was in love with him and wanted to date him, but Dad ended up falling for my mom and later married her. When Scarlett first saw me, she said to Orion, "How can you do this to me? You're dating this witch. You know her mom is a homewrecker." "Mom, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Lily is a great. Why would you say things like this? Her mom is the one who destroyed my first love. I should have married Ellie's dad." "Nah, stole him from me. She's a cheap woman, and I'm sure Ellie is no better." "Don't talk about my mother like this," I interjected. "She has done nothing to you. My father only dated my mom and no one else. I know Dad wasn't with anyone and not you." "Ellie," Scarlett shot back, "he would have dated me if your witch mother hadn't tricked him away. Your mother is a homewrecker. I was in love with him." I was appalled by Scarlett's words. Yes, my dad did know Scarlett, but they never dated. They weren't even friends. My dad said they were batchmates and nothing more. He knew about Orion and Scarlett before he passed after I graduated. He also warned me that Scarlett was a little crazy. I didn't take his warning seriously, but now I could see that he didn't exaggerate. After hearing Scarlett attack me and my mom, I decided to cut the evening short. I told Orion that I was leaving. He looked pissed but didn't follow me out. I went home and waited for Orion to come back. When he finally did, he said, "What the hell is wrong with you, Ellie? Why did you leave so abruptly? That was extremely rude. You insulted my mom by leaving early." "Excuse me," I said. "Are you deaf, Orion? Did you not hear how your mom kept insulting me and my mom? You still expected me to be there? My mom didn't lie about anything. She was just venting and taking out her frustrations. She's not wrong, though. Your mom did steal your dad from my mom. It's natural for her to feel sad." "That was years ago, Orion. How can you tell my mom stole my dad? My dad told me about Scarlett. She's not even a friend. Your mother is hung up on the past for nothing. It doesn't matter. The thing is, my mom talked about your dad a lot. It breaks my heart to see her this sad." "Now that I have seen my mother in distress," I said, "I don't want your mother around. I can't play in-laws with Na knowing that she broke my mom's heart." "What? You have to be kidding me. My mom is not responsible for destroying whatever made-up relationship Scarlett had in her mind." We fought for days on this topic. Hell, Orion didn't even want my mom at his wedding. It was insane. He kept saying that my mom's presence would upset Scarlett. He also said that Scarlett was pressuring him not to marry me. I couldn't understand why Orion was taking his mom's side over this stupid issue. Scarlett was acting like an unreasonable person, and I knew she needed professional help to get over my dad. Scarlett is a super manipulative person and had a strong influence on Orion since she was a single mother all along. Orion tended to take her side over everyone else. Scarlett never liked me. I tried my best to extend an olive branch every time I could, but she rejected me every time and found ways to humiliate me and my family. At our rehearsal dinner, there was a huge fiasco between my mom and Scarlett. So far, we had been able to keep Scarlett and Lily from meeting, but the rehearsal was inevitable and so was their meeting. Orion did try to stop my mom from attending. He said, "Why can't your mom skip the rehearsal, Ellie? She doesn't need to be there anyway. You know my mom will be there. I don't think Na should come." "Why the hell will I ask my mom to skip the rehearsal?" I said. She has done nothing wrong. Scarlett is the one who is still obsessed with the past. Look, I don't care if Na is innocent. I just know that my mom had trouble being around her. It's my wedding and I don't want my mom to be unhappy. She's the only one I have. This is also my wedding, Orion. Just because I have a sister doesn't mean my mother has become disposable. You know I am close to her. After even more arguing, I put my foot down. There was no way my mother was getting uninvited from the wedding or the rehearsal. I had accommodated Scarlett in her stupid demands for long enough. However, nothing prepared me for what happened during our rehearsal. Scarlett straight up approached my mom and started to tell her, "You are that witch who destroyed my life. Your daughter was taking away everything from me. It's all your fault. How dare you mess up my life?" "What are you talking about, Scarlett?" my mom said. "I didn't do anything to you. If this is about my husband, you two were not even in a relationship. I don't know why you are blaming me because he fell for me. He would have been mine if you hadn't interfered. I would have nabbed him. You are nothing but a homewrecker. First you took him away and then you trapped him with a child. Now your witch daughter is trying to steal my son." "Scarlett, you are insane," I said. "I know you kept tabs on me and my husband. We never confronted you because we didn't want trouble. Hell, I didn't even stop my daughter when she told us about Orion. Orion and her, Ellie, are happy together. Let's not destroy their day." Scarlett just wouldn't listen to her. She kept shouting at her and me. She called us all sorts of names. Some of them were downright disgusting, and I won't repeat them here. You can guess them just fine. Anyway, all the guests were pretty uncomfortable by the fiasco. Most of them were appalled by Scarlett's reaction, which enraged her even further. Orion still took his mother's side. After the party was over, we went home, and an argument started. Orion was furious at my mom for everything. He said, "Sue, this is why I didn't want Na to be around. Just look how she destroyed our wedding. How can you still blame my mom? This is ridiculous. Scarlett made a huge scene today. She is the one who started it. Mom was way too soft on her." "Your mom shouldn't have come to the rehearsals," I said. "She has no regard for my mom's feelings. I no longer want her in my life. I don't want a relationship with her ever. Don't even talk to me about her, and I don't want her at my house frequently." "Fine then, Orion," I said. "If you don't want a relationship with her, it's fine, but I won't listen to you. I'm not abandoning my mom for nothing." Hey, pause for a moment. Would you care to support us? Like this video and subscribe for more. Now let's dive back into the story. After our arguments, I did have some serious doubts about marrying him. Orion was a great boyfriend and fiancé. Between the two of us, happiness and love were in abundance. This was the only problem that had been plaguing us. I did talk to my mom about my fears. I wasn't so sure about continuing with the wedding. I said, "Mom, I think I should postpone the wedding. Orion's behavior is giving me lots of doubts. He has been very unfair towards you all because of his mom." "Ellie," my mom said, "Orion loves you a lot. I won't ever forgive myself knowing that I was the reason for your breakup. If you love and care for him and he does the same, these things won't come between you." "But Mom," I said, "I can't have him insulting you every time. It breaks my heart to know that he won't have a relationship with you." "It's okay, Ellie," my mom said. "It's natural for Orion to side with Scarlett. She is his mom. As for me, I am thinking about going back to my hometown in another country. I've been lonely without your father, and you're getting married now. I'll be away and won't be a problem for your relationship. It'll be the best solution for all of us." Yes, my mother decided to move countries so that I could be happy. I just can't stop praising this woman. She is the best mom ever. I begged her to stay back for me, but she said that she needed to be with her extended family. Dad's passing did affect her a lot. At the end of the day, I let her go because I didn't want her to feel lonely. Orion never found out about my mom leaving. He didn't know for another 3 years after our wedding. It wasn't until Scarlett decided to try and nuke our marriage. Before Mom left, I started to visit her very often. She was around for 1 month after I got married. I wanted to spend as much time with her as possible. I was pissed at Orion, so I never told him about Mom's decision to leave. Instead, I just told him that I was visiting her. Orion was not happy with my frequent visits, even though I did it when he wasn't home. Scarlett also put ideas into his head that I was manipulating him. After my mom left, I continued visiting her place and mostly went there to take care of the house and the garden that she had lovingly built. However, Scarlett was sure that I was conspiring with my mom against Orion and her, so she did something horrible. One day, when I was out grocery shopping, Orion called me. He sounded very angry, and that made me anxious. He said, "Why is your mother at our home for the 7th time this month? This is getting ridiculous, Ellie. I told you I don't want that woman in my house. I overlooked the first few times because I didn't want to deprive you of your mother. But now this is becoming ridiculous. Hell, are you talking about Orion? My mom hasn't been coming over at all. I'm not at the house anyway. Are you out of your mind?" "Don't lie to me, Ellie," Orion said. "I know she has been over to our house quite recently. Mom has told me everything. She has seen Lily's car in the driveway." "You have to be kidding me, Orion," I said. "Your mom must have mixed things up. My mom is in a different country. She hasn't been here for over 3 years. She moved just after our wedding. That is impossible. I would have known if she had moved. Stop protecting your mother every time, Orion. I didn't tell you because you didn't want to hear about my mom. She moved because she didn't want to come between us." "But Mom said she has been over," Orion said. "What is going on? I'm confused now. Even the neighbor said that she saw a lady coming over." "Why don't you come home so that we can see the CCTV footage?" I said. "That will answer all our questions. If someone has been coming over, they are trespassing. This is a serious problem." Orion quickly hung up the phone before agreeing to come straight away. I too left my doctor's appointment and went straight home. When we reached home, we saw that someone had indeed been in the house. That immediately gave me goosebumps. When we finally pulled up the CCTV footage, we were shocked. It turns out Scarlett is the one who has been trespassing into the house. We never even gave her a key. We had no idea how she got access to it. Orion and I were furious. We immediately called Scarlett and told her to come over. When she did, we said, "Why the hell have you been coming to our house when it is empty? Where did you even get a key, Mom? What is going on here?" "You said Na has been coming over to meet with Ellie," Orion said. "Yeah, of course she is. Your wife has been going behind your back and meeting with that homewrecker, Mom." "Why the hell are you lying?" I said. "We know it was you, damn it. Why would you lie to us?" "I'm not lying to you, Orion," Scarlett said. "I saw her with my own eyes. Your witch of a wife is brainwashing you." "Scarlett, stop blaming me and Mom for everything," I said. "Mama hasn't even been in this country for 3 years. Besides, I guess you didn't know that we have CCTVs around our house. We saw you come in when we were gone." Hearing this, Scarlett got extremely pale. We saw the color drain from her face. If I wasn't concerned about our safety, I would have laughed at her expression, but I was too anxious to even do that. Orion was also stunned and looked at Scarlett in disbelief. He said, "Mom, tell me what I'm seeing here. How the hell did you even find a key?" Well," Scarlett said, "I made one for you since your witch of a wife won't give me a key. I had to do this. You can't blame me for this." "Mom, you stole our keys to make a copy from them," Orion said. "Are you insane? It was both mine and Ellie's decision to not give you a key. This is our house and we deserve some privacy. You committed a felony, Mom." "You say that to me?" Scarlett said. "I am your mom, and I should have access to your house." "First of all, Scarlett, no, just no," Orion said. "You don't deserve to breach our privacy. Second, why did you pull my mom into this? She is innocent. I'm sure you've been letting your mom come here. I wanted to warn my son sooner or later. It would have happened. Your mom stole my man, and now you're stealing my son. I can't let that happen." "Mom, stop it," Orion said. "I've tried very hard to be on your side, but you have crossed the line. I don't think I can trust you after this. This is all Ellie's fault, Orion. You shouldn't have married her. She's taken you away from me. I had to do this to make you see some reason." By that time, I was done with Scarlett. I had put up with her insults for a long while. She kept insulting me and my mom, but I never called her names. I even lowered contact with my mom to please Orion and Scarlett. But now I can't keep it in any longer. I tore into Scarlett and Orion. I said, "I have had enough of you insulting my mom, Scarlett. I won't put up with this anymore, Orion. I know that you love your mom, but she has crossed the line. If you continue to stay in contact with her, I will leave. There is no way I'm putting up with her behavior. I am done." "Ellie, you don't have to leave," Orion said. "I have seen plenty already, Mom. Just leave and don't contact us again. I will be calling the police to report you for trespassing and faking our key without permission. I'm done with you." No, Orion," Scarlett said. "You can't do this to me. How can you take Ellie's side after everything she and her mom want to destroy me? Don't let them do this." "That's it, Mom," Orion said. "Leave my house immediately. I don't want to see you again. Don't contact us. I'll put a restraining order against you." Scarlett just wouldn't listen to us. She kept throwing tantrums and even tried to attack me. That's when Orion called the police and they arrested her. We submitted the CCTV footage and had the neighbor confirm that they saw Scarlett entering our house. Scarlett was taken away in cuffs. When the police finally left with her, Orion turned to me and said, "Rue, I have absolutely no words to tell you how much I messed up. I'm so sorry. I never should have prioritized my mom over yours. I knew she was always being unreasonable, but I wanted to support her. I had no idea she would do something like this." "Orion," I said, "things can't go on like this anymore. Me and my mom have suffered enough. It has to end somewhere. You let your mom attack me and my mom all the time. We never protested. Mom even left the country to save me from choosing." "I know, Ellie," Orion said. "I'm so sorry for everything. I will apologize to Na as well. I know she didn't deserve this treatment. I take full responsibility for making things this way. And don't worry, I won't let Mom get away with this." True to his word, Orion did call my mom and apologized. He was worried that my mom wouldn't speak to him, but she did agree to hear him out. Orion said, "I'm so sorry for treating you badly, Na. I know you didn't deserve this. Today's event just opened my eyes to how horrible and manipulative my mom can be." "It's okay, Orion," my mom said. "I don't blame you. It's natural for you to take your mom's side. I know you value your family a lot. That's why I never questioned Ellie's marriage to you. You have always been patient with me. You are also my family, but I failed to be there for you. Please forgive me. Will you come back? I promise it won't be a problem anymore." "No, Orion," my mom said. "I have gotten quite comfortable here. I don't want to come back. I'll visit, but I think I am happier here. Don't blame yourself for this. Just make sure you protect my daughter and take care of her. That's all I want." Orion was even more devastated by my mom's words. He finally understood how badly he had messed up. He also grew a newfound respect for Mom, which made me happy to see that things will finally change from now on. As for Scarlett, Orion and I refused to withdraw our case or even grant her bail. Some relatives did call us to take her side, but they quickly changed their minds once we told them everything. Scarlett had cooked up a story that wasn't true at all, so they didn't know what had happened. One aunt did bail her out but told her never to call her again. The police also told her to stay away from us. Scarlett didn't listen to the police. She kept approaching us and even showed up at Orion's work in our house. When the harassment didn't stop, we filed restraining orders against her. That finally made her stop visiting. From what our extended family told us, Scarlett had lost her job due to the police report. She was begging for money and showing up at everyone's house for help. No one was willing to help her if she didn't join therapy. They even offered to pay for it. Scarlett refused their offer, so they shut the door in her face. Last I heard, she was struggling to find a job and about to lose her house. Orion still finds it difficult to deal with the fiasco. He joined therapy where he realized just how narcissistic Scarlett was. Her manipulative ways have also affected him mentally, and he's still in recovery. He has made good progress and is slowly learning to identify the abusive behaviors of Scarlett. So far, he has absolutely no intentions of ever seeing her again. I am enjoying the peace in my home and finally living a good life. I'm also happy that Orion and Na have looked past everything and are slowly becoming friends. Let's conclude this story shortly. The truth, once revealed, set us free. Scarlett's web of lies unraveled, leaving her isolated and alone, facing the consequences of her actions. Orion, finally seeing his mother for who she truly was, apologized to my mom and me, vowing to never let her toxic influence control his life again. He understood the pain she'd caused and the damage she'd inflicted on our family. The scars of Scarlett's manipulation may never fully disappear, but they serve as a reminder of the strength we find within ourselves. My mom, though still living abroad, found solace in her extended family and a renewed sense of purpose. As for Orion and me, we rebuilt our lives, stronger and more united than ever. We learned that true love and happiness can withstand even the most venomous attacks, and that sometimes the only way to break free from a toxic relationship is to confront it head on. The peace we found in the aftermath of Scarlett's downfall was worth every fight, every tear, and every moment of doubt. We are living proof that even in the face of adversity, love can prevail. And that, my friends, is a story worth telling. After experiencing the full journey of our story, we'd love to hear your thoughts. How did the story resonate with you? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay blessed. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next story.
All right, everyone's presentations are done. Nick, the manager, said as he tried to move the discussion forward. Excuse me, I haven't. I recently found out something. Nick interrupted me and began to speak. There's apparently someone in this department who didn't graduate high school and is just a part-timer. Meetings should be for employees only. Absolutely right. His lackey, Mike, of course, agreed with Nick. I'm leaving. After leaving the meeting room, I started to shut down my computer. I noticed that an email had arrived, not in my personal inbox, but in the company's shared email. Thinking, there's no point in speaking up, no one will listen, I went home quietly. The next day, I heard a commotion from Nick's desk. He was staring at his computer screen, his face pale. Nick! Is something wrong? Mike looked at the screen with him. And he turned even paler than Nick. Why is he so angry? Knowing the reason for Mike's distress, I thought to myself, serves them right. My name is Adam. My mother passed away when I was in the 9th grade, and I was raised by my father. Well, you could hardly call it being raised. After my mother passed, my father changed. He drowned his sorrows in alcohol, and though he still went to work, he squandered our living expenses on horse racing. Because of that, I had to start working part-time as soon as I entered high school. Every month, I went to the convenience store with bills in hand that couldn't be auto-deducted from my father's account. Even though I endured it because I didn't want to be alone, I reached my limit in my second year of high school and dropped out. I found a live-in job at a distant inn. Thank you for everything. The day I left home, my father, still staring at the TV, spoke. Take care. That was our last conversation. Back then, 18 wasn't the age of majority, so I needed my father's permission to work, and I couldn't hide my place of employment. Yet, my father never visited me even once. I kept working just to survive, and before I knew it, I was 42. Years of hard work paid off, and I was transferred to the headquarters. I was thrilled to be recognized by the company, as I thought I'd be working in the field until retirement due to my lack of formal education. Listen up. Our work can change the future of our employees. Don't drag us down. On my first day after the transfer, Nick, dressed in an expensive suit, spoke sternly. There was a reason for this. Our inn was located in a prominent tourist destination, known so well that everyone in the state could sing its commercial jingle. At its peak, we had 5 locations within the state. But that was long ago. Due to financial difficulties and aging facilities, only the place where I had worked for many years and the original establishment remained. I was prepared to lose my job anytime, but now there was a glimmer of hope. With the rise of social media, the tourist area where the inn was located started gaining attention again. Depending on how hard the sales department, where I was transferred, worked, we could either thrive or be forced to give up this prime location to the new hotel chains continuously popping up. For Nick, who had switched careers from another industry to strengthen our sales, this was a battle he couldn't afford to lose. I understood why he had to be strict. I will do my best. Nick sneered at my enthusiastic declaration. Did you not hear what I said? I'm sorry. I thought I was listening carefully. Out of habit from years of customer service, I apologized reflexively, though I had no idea what had offended him. Someone was watching me with a smirk. In this department, there are those who are expected to excel and those who have been shoved here because they have nowhere else to go. You are the latter. It was Mike, the section chief. He's 7 years younger, at 35. But he was called to headquarters much earlier than I was and had been moving around within the headquarters ever since. I'm not jealous, but I can't accept that he's my boss. Graduating from a prestigious university, he has an unusually high pride and caused many problems as a newbie, making things very difficult for me when I was the front desk leader. When I found out Mike was transferred to the sales department a month before me, I was disheartened. Mike is right. With just a middle school diploma, there's not much you can do. Don't even think about achieving results. As if I didn't exist, Nick remarked, "I'm thirsty." Mike eagerly ran to the coffee maker. It seems Mike is Nick's lackey. I regretted being happy about my transfer to headquarters, wishing I had stayed on site forever. Send a direct mail to every company on this list by the end of the day. Nick only assigned me tasks that even a new graduate could handle. What? There are over 1,000 companies. You want me to send to all of them by today? Yes, if you and your fellow misfits split the work, even those with nowhere else to go should finish by today. I glanced at the employees typing away expressionlessly. They were worn out from customer service, only thinking about leaving on time, or were women reassigned after having children, with zero motivation for work. Even Sam, a new graduate from the same university as Mike, who was supposed to be among the expected achievers, had no enthusiasm for the job, having joined the company wanting to do customer service. "I don't care what they say, I plan to quit any time," he said. Only Nick and Mike were highly motivated, making all the decisions between the two of them. I originally only wanted to work at the inn to survive and had no particular attachment to this job. I swallowed my words, thinking I had no right to reprimand them. About a month after the transfer, Nick told us with a frustrated look, "To commemorate the 50th anniversary, we've decided to create a plan exclusive for one group per day." Originally, Mike and I were supposed to come up with it, but our president, Mr. Thompson, insists on hearing everyone's opinions. "So, you all get a chance." As Nick explained, Mike began handing out prints. "Make sure not to embarrass Nick. If your ideas are half-baked, you'll have to redo them." It seemed that they had printed his handwritten notes by Mr. Thompson, which included several questions and a section for free responses. It made sense why Nick had to seek our input, given that all responses had to be submitted to Mr. Thompson. We were given a week to think about it, and a meeting was scheduled to compile our ideas. My plan is to let guests enjoy both the old and modern America. Nick began the presentations. Guests would watch a master confectioner at a nearby traditional sweet shop make sweets in front of them. The welcome drink would be premium tea in a bottle. Nick's plan was certainly attractive. After his presentation, Nick called on us to present in the order we were seated. Just as I stood up for my turn. "All right, everyone's presentations are done." "Excuse me, I haven't. I recently found out something." Nick interrupted me. "There's someone in this department who didn't graduate high school and is just a part-timer." He was likely talking about me. I joined the company as a part-timer and was made a full-time employee when I turned 20. That was 20 years ago, so Nick and Mike probably had no chance to know until recently. Meetings should be for employees only. Absolutely right. After that, Nick kept creating opportunities to solicit everyone's opinions, purposefully excluding me from speaking. The meeting unexpectedly heated up and went past the scheduled end time. A few people asked to leave, and the discussion continued with the remaining few. "Still here?" Normally, you'd leave in that situation. Though I had no attachment to the job initially, hearing kind words from customers made me want to make them happier. For someone like me, with nowhere to go, the inn was my home and customer service was my life. I felt pathetic about my current self. "I'm leaving." I left the conference room and started shutting down my computer. I noticed an email had arrived, not in my personal inbox, but in the company's shared email. Thinking no one would listen to what I had to say anyway, I quietly went home. The next day, while preparing the DM as instructed, I heard a commotion from Nick's desk. In his haste to stand up, he hit his knee on the desk. He stared at his computer screen, his face pale. "Nick, what's wrong?" Mike, thinking he should be the first to rush over, approached Nick while still wearing his coat. He peered at the screen with Nick. And he turned even paler than Nick. "Why is he so angry? Who is responsible for this company?" Nick, more irritated than ever, asked, and Mike answered without checking. Probably Sam. Sam wasn't there because he was attending a morning training session for new hires. Nick gave up on getting angry and returned his gaze to the screen. They were looking at an email that arrived right after the end of the working day yesterday. Apparently, no one, including me, had checked it before leaving. The email was from a large company that used us for their annual employee trips. The president and executives of that company also frequently used our services personally. President of the company, Mr. Mason himself, had declared that neither he nor his company would ever use our services again. Well, some companies cancel their employee trips or stop using our services due to financial struggles. Let's just move on. Mike kept wiping the sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief. Knowing why Mike was so agitated, I quietly watched their interaction. Do you know how much revenue we get from that company? We can find other guests to fill the rooms, but we'll lose the banquet costs, gift shop revenue, rental car fees, and more. Moreover, the gifts were supposed to be prepared by the traditional confectionery shop involved in Nick's proposed plan. If it's known that we incurred such a huge loss at this critical time, Nick's position in the company would be jeopardized. Nick took a deep breath, seemingly trying to calm himself. All right, Mike. Go to New York right now and apologize to Mr. Mason. What? You're coming with me, right? I have urgent work to do. I trust you, which is why I'm entrusting this to you. Please. Mike, believing Nick's sincerity, agreed with a determined look on his face, saying, yes. That's Nick for you. Even if Mike went to apologize, Nick would shift all the blame onto him if the client didn't change their mind. Well, it was Mike's fault to begin with, so it served him right. About 3 hours later, Sam answered a call from somewhere and repeatedly apologized, saying, I'm very sorry. Everyone watched to see what was happening. After ending the call, he informed Nick with a weary tone. When Mike arrived at the client's company, he only made things worse, further infuriating Mr. Mason. He was demanding, get his boss here immediately. It was no wonder Sam was exhausted, dealing with such a call right after returning from training. What is that idiot doing? All right, Adam, you're coming with me. If sacrificing Mike didn't work, then I must be next. Normally, I'd want to refuse at all costs, but I saw an opportunity in this situation. If I can be of assistance, I'd be happy to join you. I immediately followed Nick, and we flew to New York. When we introduced ourselves at the reception, it became clear how serious the situation was, as the receptionist personally escorted us to the president's office. Angry voices leaked through the door, making both Nick and me uneasy. Excuse me. I'm Nick, the supervisor. I understand my subordinate has caused you trouble, and I deeply apologize. Nick, with his experience in the corporate world, knew enough to offer an apology before excuses. However, his customer service skills left much to be desired. I sighed as I saw Mike trembling like a small dog in the corner of the room. What kind of training are you giving your subordinates? Mr. Mason glared at Nick with a red face. The intensity of his gaze made even Nick take a step back. Regrettably, I joined this company only 2 years ago and was unaware of Mike's issues. I should have identified his shortcomings sooner. Indeed. I should have realized sooner. No sensible person would come to apologize and then give a lengthy presentation on the drawbacks of not using their in. Nick froze, his mouth slightly open. Suspecting the worst, I picked up the documents that had fallen to the floor. It seemed Mike hastily prepared these documents on the plane, listing the disadvantages. Disadvantage 1: if you change the venue for the company trip, employees might suspect it's for cost-cutting reasons, leading to a negative impression. Reading it aloud half-jokingly, Nick snatched the papers from my hand and checked the contents with a furious expression. Among the stack of documents was a receipt from a nearby convenience store's copy machine. I felt a pang of dread, hoping he hadn't shown the receipt as well. What do you think he said when I asked what kind of nerve he had to do this? I'm very sorry. Faced with the dire situation, Nick must have thought there was nothing left to do but apologize. In a voice smaller than I'd ever heard from him, he uttered words of apology. He said, I'm a Harvard graduate. I don't believe I said anything wrong. Mike. What have you done? Forgetting his plan to pin the blame on Mike, Nick yelled loudly, even in front of Mr. Mason. "I didn't do anything wrong." "You're still saying that?" "Look at him." Mike pointed at me with a shaking hand. "I was assigned to headquarters in my 20s and now I'm a section chief. This guy only made it to headquarters at 42. Everything I've done proves I was right. So why are we losing the contract?" Having said his piece, Mike collapsed to the floor. "Of course. You were sent there because you had nowhere else to go." Mike never expected to hear such words from someone he looked down upon. He lunged at me, and Nick hurriedly stepped in to stop him. "Mr. Thompson told me Mike is a quick thinker, and to take good care of him." There's no way he was pushed aside. "Don't make things worse here." "He didn't say quick thinker, he said only quick-witted, didn't he?" I don't remember that part." I recalled the many troubles Mike caused when he was a newbie. When Mike was on the front line, his pride was so high that he never apologized to customers. Customer service, especially in our job, doesn't work alone. It brings both good and bad situations. If the front staff or housekeepers made mistakes, or the cleaning company didn't properly clean a room, one had to apologize to the customers regardless of personal fault. Mike, in such situations, would never apologize, insisting he wasn't at fault. This often angered customers, and as the front desk leader, I frequently had to apologize on his behalf. He caused complaints and disrupted operations, which is why he was quickly moved to headquarters. In departments where he didn't interact directly with customers, his quick thinking was beneficial and things went well. But it seemed his flaws were starting to show. Corporate reservations are supposed to be entered into the system by the sales representative. But a quick check yesterday revealed that more than 10 items were missing from the client's reservation. The handover document clearly stated what needed to be prepared. Why didn't you enter it into the system? Why do we have to give them special treatment? Filling rooms near the banquet hall, setting up all the food in advance. Specifying the brand of wine, they're too demanding. No wonder he always angered customers, I thought, feeling a headache coming on. Grouping them in rooms near the banquet hall is for our benefit too. It makes it easier for the staff to set up beds and serve breakfast since everyone's schedule is synchronized. As for the other requests, Mr. Mason suggested them to lighten our load. I didn't know that. Nick finally seemed to realize that Mike was the one who had angered the client. What did you say to them? I just told them we wouldn't give them special treatment anymore. We shouldn't waste effort on things that don't bring in money. I was utterly exasperated at his lack of understanding of customer service. Of course, we shouldn't comply with unreasonable demands. But carrying over successful practices from past stays makes customers feel remembered and enhances their experience. Good memories encourage repeat visits. That's part of our job. I looked down at Mike, who was sitting on the floor. In our job, nothing is a waste. Mr. Thompson likely moved you to the sales department, hoping you'd finally understand this. How do you think he feels now that you failed to meet his expectations? Mike, tears in his eyes, fled the president's office. I was amazed he still hadn't apologized. You have it tough, Adam. It's okay, we're all employees of the same company. I deeply apologize for this disrespectful incident. Especially after all the care you've shown us. If it weren't for you, Adam, I really would have stopped staying here. When I heard you were moving to the sales department, I was willing to reconsider if you handled it. Seeing us talk so amicably, Nick's face contorted. Do you two know each other? Adam's service is excellent. I always requested him specifically. Normally, we don't accept specific staff requests, but we made an exception for Mr. Mason, adjusting my shifts accordingly. He had personally stayed at our hotel just before my transfer, and during casual conversation, I mentioned, I'm moving to the sales department soon. If I hadn't told him then, things could have been much worse. Please continue to take care of us. I look forward to it. On the return flight, Nick awkwardly offered me a can of beer. It's still working hours. Of course, I had no intention of forgiving him for a single beer. Nick might try to pin everything on Mike and avoid any consequences. While pondering this, a startling fact came to light. Nick, the tea bottles for the plan have arrived. I handed Nick a bottle labeled with our inn's name. They look good. What are you talking about? These are plastic bottles. I had assumed we would use the trendy, high-end bottling tea. But what arrived were ordinary plastic bottles of tea with customized labels. The only unique aspect was the label, which had the inn's name, making it look customized. Upon further investigation, I discovered that a substantial amount of money was set to be paid to the tea company. It was priced like bottling tea. Does this plastic bottle really cost $100 each? The tea inside is specially blended for us. The extra cost is for that. Wouldn't it be better to use another tea company? Or is there a specific reason we must use this one? As Nick continued to make excuses, I showed him a printed email. I informed the tea company's president, Mr. Mitchell, that we discovered irregular payments and he confessed. He said you two were high school classmates and planned to split the extra money. That idiot. Why did he confess? That's not important. You should worry about yourself, this could turn into a police matter. Opening the bottle cap, I suggested. How about calming down with this tea? It supposedly has a relaxing effect. Nick drank the tea frantically. In the following days, decisions were made about their fates. Mike was reassigned to the General Affairs Department, with no chance of transfer or promotion, as per Mr. Thompson's orders. As for Nick, since the payment to the tea company hadn't yet been made, he narrowly avoided legal trouble. Instead, he was encouraged to leave the company, and to avoid further complications, Nick submitted his resignation. Rumor has it that connections between HR departments have made it difficult for him to find new employment. Even though it was good to have those two gone, something unexpected happened in the sales department. Everyone became motivated and united in refining the 50th anniversary plan. In the end, my plan was adopted. We collaborated with the Tourist Information Center to provide personalized guides. The plan, tailored to the number of guests, was truly special for the 50th anniversary. Hey, is Adam's family coming to stay? I immediately booked that special plan for my family. Sam noticed it on the reservation list and quickly picked up on it. Yes, I'm inviting my father. That's great. I might invite my parents too. I lacked the courage to face my father just as Adam. But here, with the confidence Mr. Mason praised, I felt ready. The 50th anniversary plan was a perfect opportunity to reconnect with my father. I hoped to bring back the days when we could laugh together as we once did.